All right, let me get set up here. I just wanted to do a video this week. This is the July 22nd, Thursday. The reason I decided to do a video is because lots of little things are happening in the background, and I want to keep you guys up to date as to what is happening in the back room here, as well as with myself. So let's begin with the back. So you know about my Pro 1000 throwing a B204 error. And that's not the very common B200 error, but one that actually does affect your printer. Well, it literally kills it. So at this point, it needs a print head. And that is simply what you need to always consider whenever you have a B200 something error. It's usually, if not all the time, related to a print head. So the catch is, even though the system has a built-in tool that you can access through the printer's screen that allows you to properly remove a print head and exchange it with a new one. But why would you want to do that if you haven't gotten any kind of hey, you should change your print head notice? Oh, how about this one? Hey, you have about 2 days worth of use before your printhead dies. That would be great instead of just all of a sudden getting the B200 whatever, and then it locks itself to the right side. Well, you can AI look all day and try to find ways to dislodge that locking mechanism, but folks, it just doesn't really work, okay? So the only thing you could do is to remove the right panel, the right side. There are a couple of screws in the back, and somehow lift it up. There's some instructions. I'm not really that great at this sort of thing, but and then you manually unlock it by turning a gear. They say to use a screwdriver to try to turn that gear, but anyway, we'll see. One thing that I noticed happened the last time was I tried to power it on, and it started. Nathan was here with me, so he's my witness. It started doing a cleaning cycle. Now, if I remember correctly, when it is doing a cleaning cycle, that means the printhead originally sat over that purge pad. It sealed itself. Vacuum was applied silently, and then the printhead detaches, and then the pump sucks out the ink that it sucked out of the printhead via that vacuum application. Well, at that point, it's really disconnected. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. Although I'm going to be a little bit busy tomorrow, but I'm going to try that maybe this weekend, and we'll see if that works. I'll plug it back in. It's been unplugged for days now. I'll plug it back in, try to restart it with the lid open, and see if the printhead has detached itself one way or another. If that happens, I will then pull the plug and be able to slide the printhead over, and I can then manually remove the printhead from the carriage itself. Hopefully that will work. I have two printheads, so no issues here. And unlike a Pro 1, my Pro 1 still works. I have another Pro 1 sitting underneath my Pro 200 that was given to me by Rick Johnson. And that baby is fabulous, and I thank you, and I really thank you for that. The other Pro 1 is actually much younger than my existing, although working Pro 1, and I just printed this today. This is one of Richard Bender's AI generated image. Look at that. And the gloss is just fabulous, and it is absolutely no banding whatsoever on here. Let me give you a little clearer look here. There we go. Check that out. It's a little off center, but that's my fault. This paper, I think, is not a U.S. based paper. It was an old couple of sheets left of an Epson Premium glossy paper, and I just printed it using Canon's Glossy 2 profile. Just let the driver do its thing and turned out beautifully. That practically matches my monitor from what I saw while I was up, printing that earlier today. But anyway, so that printer is working. I have a ton of PGI 29 cartridges that some of them still had some ink in them, so I've been extracting ink. In fact, if you watch my last Sunday's live stream, you saw me remove some chroma optimizer out of some of those cartridges. I have a few more right here. These are actually pretty much full. They have a full volume of ink that is 85 total grams of weight, the whole cartridge. And they have original OEM chips, so I'm not sure whether I removed those and then topped them off. You can do that. You can refill them directly or not. I don't know I don't remember what I did. So the other ones that I have in the back, I still have some of the grays and blacks that I need to remove the ink. And then I'm bagging everything up and I'm going to take it over to Staples and see if they'll take them. According to the website, they take them. PGI 29s, it says specifically. So maybe I'll get some credit, or I really don't care at this point. The reason I have so many is because I used to actually perform the required thing to be able to use those third-party single-use chips. I had to remove the chip very carefully by shaving off one of the posts, sliding it off, and then I used to mill a little circular cavity so that I can put the fat third-party chips that have a little globule of like a black resin in the back of the chip. So that's the only reason I have to do that. And I used to sell full sets of these, empty, already modified, ready to accept chips. Precision Colors used to sell the chips, so we had a good thing going here. And that helped the channel quite a bit back in those days. But now the Pro 1 has been discontinued completely. And so no more need for those cartridges. So I am harvesting the ink, and hopefully I will then consolidate it into larger bottles, and we'll see. My other Pro 1 had very little use. It was sent to me by a gentleman who no longer wanted it because it threw a B200 error, and I received it. I plugged it in, and it was perfectly fine. Imagine my shock. But stupid me, I didn't use it regularly enough, and now it has thrown a B200 error. So I am daily looking on eBay, see if there are any. And even if I have to pay a couple $100 or maybe even more for a brand new printhead, I will do so, because that will allow me to revive that printer, which was perfectly fine. And the key with these Pro 1s, and they are excellent printers, okay, as far as the production or the quality of the prints they produce. They weren't very well designed. They were the first attempt that Canon made at a positive pressure type cartridge system. They have an internal bag and pressure is applied to the bag and so on, just like Epson cartridges, just a lot fancier, a lot more difficult. I think they went a little bit too crazy with that design. Well, it didn't really work out, so the Pro 1000 came out, and it just ran over the Pro 1. But anyway, so if I can get that one going, then that'll be great. I'll have hopefully if I can revive the Pro 1000, a Pro 1 or maybe 2, and then the Pro 200, my 3880, 3800, they actually print on all 7 channels except for black. Black is blank. And I have done the switch valve business back and forth several times. Nothing works. Okay, neither one of them is working. So to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump. Yes, that's where they're going. And so unfortunately, I have some cartridges left. I have a lot of ink left, and I'm trying to use some of that older the trichrome K3 inks, the ones that have vivid magenta, not the ones with the regular magenta. and just use that on my P800. Yes, it's not the exact formulation, but with good profiling, I can get away with it. Now, back there is the 80, 2880. You cannot see that. Um, I'm trying to unclog it, but I think that's going to be a, a failure because the yellow, it is absolutely clogged. So we'll see. I'll continue. You know me, I have lots of patience. I will continue using Windex and see what happens. Although people say don't use Windex, well, it works for me, so I will use it. I managed to unclog one printer that I thought was just a loss. So that is it at this point now. The other day, uh, pollen outside today. I had to go to MedStar this morning. And the reason for that was because the other day I felt something pop in my ear, and all of a sudden my ear went completely deaf. I couldn't hear anything. And if I chewed, I could hear stuff inside. And if I did this, I could hear, but nothing. If I removed my finger, nothing. So I figure, oh boy, I either have an infection because I kept feeling like a liquid coming out of my ear. I had to remove my hearing aids quite often and just clean with a tissue. And what it was, according to the doctor, is eczema. So apparently, I have a bad case of that, and it's chronic. It's not going to go away. So I have drops and a cream coming. Now, this morning, he used a device that I think sprays probably saline with an emollient and then applies suction and pulled out a plug of dead cells. All of a sudden, I could hear. Yes, this ear can hear again. And this was my worst ear. I used to crank that volume on the left side a little bit higher than the right one because otherwise I wouldn't get an equal volume in both ears. So I have a bit of irritation right now. It sort of hurts. So tomorrow, maybe CVS will call me that the prescriptions are ready, and I'll go pick them up and apply that treatment at bedtime every night, and that should help the pain that I have right now. It's a little hurting. The skin hurts a little bit. It's a little bit red, and my wife said it looks like you have scabs in there. Well, it was basically dead cells. So that is done, and I hear better than I've ever heard probably in years, just with my plain ears, no hearing aids. So that is really positive. Now, tomorrow I'll be picking up some meds. I take a blood pressure medicine. I take a uh, sugar reduction medicine because my grandpa was diabetic. My mother was not diabetic, and neither was my father, but my A1C was a little high, they said. So I am on that, and then I take a cholesterol medication and one for the prostate. All old men have to take that. Most of us do. Some lucky people do not. So four meds, and that's not bad compared to my wife's. I think she's 15 different meds. It's crazy. But, she needs to stay alive, let's just say. So, um, what else are we doing? So, I'm going to be doing some more sublimation. I'm ordering some more aluminum. I was telling someone online about the channel is a new channel. Be aware that every video you see is now 7. So one video went up at 6 o'clock this afternoon. It is an old video. It's a video that I recovered the last time I got hacked. I was able to download several hundred videos. I put them on hard drives. In fact, right here. And I was able to then uh, begin to re-upload. So be aware that when I say something, it's something that was relevant years ago. Now, technology has not really changed. The way we print is still the same, but it's just like if I say a product or something, it may not be available today. And I do not watch the whole video before I re-upload it to see what is relevant or what is not. Please bear with me when it comes to that. What I ask you to do is to watch every video that I upload. At one time, I had 79,000 subscribers. Now I'm down to just 1,300. Be aware that if you are watching this and you think you're subscribed, you didn't just recently resubscribe, you're not subscribed. Okay? Check to see. And you probably will find out you're not subscribed. So please do that. Check and see. And then subscribe. Now, lately I have seen some QR codes on the lower right side or maybe the middle right side of any of the videos that I upload. I sometimes see that. Use your camera on your phone and look into that and see. If you're watching on a computer, click on it just to give that algorithm something to do. In other words, I don't know what it will do. I think they may want you to buy the product. Well, if you buy the product, I'm sure that I will get some sort of cut, but I really don't know. I just began seeing that and I was wondering, whoa, where did that come from? I don't have any like direct affiliations through YouTube with any companies, but I just recently began to see those. If you have seen those, please check to see. Okay, check. Just all I ask. Check to see what it is, and always watch the videos that go up daily. So it'll be 5 videos a week. I have been also uploading one of my older live streams on Saturdays at noon. I didn't do it for the last several Saturdays, but I'm beginning to redo that as well. I'm doing my, you might wonder where the heck did those thumbnails come from? Yes, I'm using AI to generate thumbnails that they claim will be catchier and allow more exposure. So don't worry about that. Don't criticize them too much. They make me look like I'm not really real sometimes. But anyway, I'm just taking advantage of the tools that not Q image, that YouTube has allowed me to use. Now, I just said Q image. Now, Q image owns Print Prism. Okay, this is DDI software. And Print Prism is up to level 240. And I think this is it. He told me under the table that I don't think I can improve this any longer, anymore. So now, from now on, I'm going to spend time with his partner, who is an Apple developmental group member, and he created QImage 1. Well, what is QImage 1? Well, it just happens to be the Apple version of QImage. For you Apple users that have been jealous and complaining about Windows using people having access to QImage, you now have access to QImage, but you will soon have access to Print Prism for Apple. I don't know what they're going to call it, but maybe it'll just be 1 also. Who knows? But it's going to be available. Now, because of the final last squeezing of quality, I call it squeezing blood out of a turnip, I have been redoing all of my profiles. And since all of the images from the scans of the printed charts are saved, I just go back and reload one of those files, basically, and just create a profile. It tells me, wait a minute, you already have this. Should we write it over that? Or in other words, rewrite it, or whatever the term is. And I say yes, and it spends a few minutes. It creates a profile applying all of the improvements, okay, that the previous profile didn't have access to, because those I created them when it was like level 200. Now it's level 240. So I'm going to finish that. I am about halfway done. And so it's just a very boring process of redoing every single profile and just overwriting. That's the term. the earlier ones, okay? And that should bring my whole bank of profiles up to the maximum level that Print Prism has been able to achieve or reach at this point. So printers that we can use, I got the 8550, that's my workhorse at this point. It threw a little bit of an issue yesterday. I was printing something for a mini project for my wife and myself, and I saw banding, and I thought, oh gosh, do I need a nozzle check? And I did a nozzle check, and it was perfect. So it was like a head alignment issue. How did that happen? I don't know. So I did the whole process, and then it's back to being good again. So you might have to do that every once in a while. Now, my tanks are full at this point, so I'm good to go. The XP 4200 from Epson, right behind me, right behind the 8550, is my sublimation printer. If I don't get the Pro 1000 working, I thought about just buying another 8550 when it is on sale, because it would be only $500 instead of like 800, and turn that into a sublimation printer, or turn this one into a sublimation printer. I would have to remove all of the ink from the tanks using long needles and suck out everything, and then add a little bit of sublimation ink and run cleaning cycles. Fill up a whole, wasting cartridge with that, and then add some more sublimation ink, and so forth, flushing off the regular photo ink, and then set the brand new one with the OEM dye inks and the black matte pigment ink. And that would give me the ability to then print larger transfer images, and take advantage of being able to do 11 by 14 on this heat press. If I go larger than that, I would have to buy a new heat press, because you have to have a much larger than your actual largest sublimation print you're going to produce. So 11 by 14, you really need like a 16 by 16 printer. I have a 15 by 15, so maybe a 16 by 20, and that can be costly, especially if you buy a good brand. In the back, we have the P800 that's been working fine. My 3800, 3880 are at lost cost. I have a 2880 back there, and that, I don't know if I'm gonna get that going. So I have the Pro 200 in the back, the P800, the Pro 1, and then the other Pro 1 that I really need to check to see if it magically all of a sudden begins to work. And if it does, then I'm going to use it daily. So, and that is it. I think that is all we have at this point, which is good. I don't really need. At one point, I had almost 30 printers. It was ridiculous. And how can anybody keep up with 30 printers? You know what I mean? So, crazy. All right. So keep in mind, again, like I said, that at one time I had 79,000 subs. If you are a current watcher, just because, I saw your channel disappear, now you're back, and you think you're subscribed just because you were subscribed in the previous channel, no, you're not. So please check. Please check. Do me that big favor and check to see if you are subscribed. And if you are not, don't be shocked. Just go ahead and subscribe. Join our Facebook group. All right. That's going to be it for now. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and check. Please check to see that you are indeed subscribed. Share. Tell people who are interested in printing about this channel. And of course, like. And like the video on YouTube, not on my Facebook group. I always post a link on my Facebook group, and those members like it there, but YouTube could care less. So please like it in YouTube, and please make it a point to add a comment. Okay, that's what's needed in the beginning to get a channel rolling so that it begins to grow. So that is it. Again, thank you so very much. Bye-bye, everyone.